Howdy Fluffbutts, it's me, FEELIN and Cortez. So you may know me from my small channel on furry and brony related content, and sometimes the occasional gaming video or two. But for now, I wanted to try something brand new for this channel, and me to take a stab at in the dark to see whether it works or not. Even though the title of this video may seem a bit misleading with the way it's written, making you believe that I'm going to be doing a whole series of videos on this certain topic, it could just be a one-time thing. Wow, this was fun to make! But I don't think this is for me. Meh, moving on. Today, I am going to be reviewing 2 episodes of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. Or more like the very first 2 stories of the entire show, the first 2-part episode in the first season. Friendship is Magic, Parts 1 and 2. Since I was once a film student and pocketing a level 3 diploma in creative media, I believe that if this is going to become a thing on my channel, I am going to make this video as engaging as I can, by going into detail with specific scenes, different character developments, which people star as who in the show, whether the plot adapts well or miserably, and maybe the occasional fun fact thrown in. Because after all, if the video was only me babbling, it would ultimately turn out boring. I have to thank several channels for giving me inspiration for producing something similar to video reviews. For example, AC Race Best, Harry's Haunting Castle, Little Shy FIM, Golden Fox, Josh Scorcher, and many others for filling me with motivation with this opportunity for making my opinions on something publicly known. When this video eventually ends, I would appreciate your thoughts on if I should continue reviewing more episodes. I did have the thought of going through every single episode in all 9 seasons of Friendship is Magic, but that honestly sounds like a no-win for me. So your likes and comments will be crucial for this video. Go ahead and smack that like button to help me out, and consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this. And now, without further ado, let's begin this. On October the 10th, 2010, a brand new magical adventure begins for a decade to come. A new generation of exciting ponies are born for a wide diversity of old and new fans of the previous MLP incarnations in the 90s. The Hub, just when it had its official debut as an airing television channel, released something enticing for its audience to view. A brand new generation of My Little Pony. It all started with the first part of a 2-part episode called Friendship is Magic, coinciding with the title of the show itself, giving the episode importance and a unique perspective.
What do you want to know?
Absolutely everything.
The opening of the first episode is quite remarkable. Aside from the fact that the style of animation used in the show is so basic, it manages to display its huge potential for what is yet to come within the first minute and a half. We get a nice little time-lapse montage of clips that briefly show what Equestria was like in the pre-era. It's very beautiful, to be honest, especially since it plays on the idea that the entire show was all one big fairy tale come to life with its immersive storytelling. We are then rapidly introduced to the 2 main Alicorn characters, Princess Celestia and Princess Luna. Despite only learning of their existence within seconds of watching, upon learning that Luna grew resentful of Equestria's preference for Celestia's day that ultimately turned her into a monster, it encourages the viewer to keep watching to see how harmony could have possibly been maintained for over a millennium. Do you know how horrible that must have been for Celestia to bear for 1,000 years? Imprisoning her own sister in the moon, taking responsibility for raising both the sun and moon, and keeping everything balanced on the planet. This honestly makes me respect Celestia slightly more than Luna as a powerful character.
Quiet!
So sorry, Princess Luna fanboys. We then learn of the elements of harmony for a brief moment, not fully knowing what their true power is, before the storybook transitions, and the narrator's voice soon changes to that of a unicorn called Twilight Sparkle, the main protagonist of the show. She is voiced by Tara Strong, a female voice actor that is famously known for her roles in many other cartoons, Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls, and even Ben Tennyson from the original Ben 10 in 2005. Turns out that Twilight was reading through the storybook that opened up at the beginning as she wonders where the elements of harmony could be in Equestria, and then the divine music begins.
My little pony, my little pony. Did you know you are my very best friends?
I can remember sitting down in front of my TV for the first time watching Friendship is Magic, and when the theme tune played through the speakers, I was filled with so much positivity because everything in the song worked brilliantly. The official composer for the show, Daniel Ingram, did a whacking good job on maintaining every prospect in the music, from the vocals from each voice actor, the percussion,
Sharing kindness.
It's an easy feat.
and even the whistling that can be vaguely heard in the background. It was at that moment, when the theme faded into silence, I knew that the show was going to be something worthwhile. The episode kicks off calmly, with Twilight on her way to study more about the Mare in the Moon. 3 of her schoolmates appear to invite her to one of their friends' parties, but Twilight quickly runs off. For a first-time viewer, this interaction may seem merely unkind. However, considering Twilight's whole demeanor with her passion for education and kind of neurotic attitude, her introverted personality is understood. Not to mention that Twilight once lived in an ivory tower, a place known for it being a location of seclusion. Twilight and her assistant, more like little slave, Spike the Dragon, attempt to learn more about the elements of harmony, as they fear the potential threat that Nightmare Moon possesses. Twilight orders Spike to write a letter to Princess Celestia to warn her. However, this scene got dragged on a little by Twilight and Spike's struggle of simplifying the letter.
Hold on. Press it. Press it. What? Threshold. Brink? We get it! That something really bad is about to happen. It's imperative that the princess is told right away. Important!
Okay, take it easy, Twilight. He's only a baby dragon after all. She even acknowledges this later.
You are a baby dragon after all.
Celestia sends a letter back saying that she does have faith in Twilight, but she insists that she needs to stop worrying and devote the preparations time into making friends.
Make some friends!
The way that Twilight's facial expressions switch between one and the other so quickly is hilarious. She is hesitant about the idea at first, but reluctantly goes with it when she and Spike get sent to Ponyville. It is a friendly and vibrant town that is established early on in the series to be the main setting for the show. Although the palette and style of the town have its own agricultural and old-fashioned charm, each of the main protagonists has their own decorated locations that reflect their characters in full fashion. For example, Rarity's boutique for Rarity's passion for embellishment, and Sweet Apple Acres to express Applejack's devotion to farming, which is some big creativity from the animators.
Awesomeness! But the fate of Equestria does not rest on me making friends.
Oh, if only you knew, Twilight. If only you knew. Upon landing in Ponyville, Spike encourages Twilight to try interacting with someone, some pony, and she gets the chance with a random pony that walked up to them. The pony dramatically gasps like she's desperate for air before dashing off. Twilight responds sensibly.
Well, that was interesting, alright.
It sure was. Hopefully some pony weird like them won't come up later as a future protagonist. Surely not. Twilight and Spike arrive at their first destination, Sweet Apple Acres, and we are briskly introduced to the first co-main character, Applejack,
who is not a background character in the slightest, and if you insult her one more time or say that she is the most disposable pony out of the main 6, you will be stabbed.
Oh, sorry. Just the fangirl urge coming out. Where was I again? Oh yeah, Applejack is voiced by Ashley Ball, who previously provided the voices for Kirsty from Bratz, Mary Test from Johnny Test, and plus Oopsie Bear from Care Bears Care-A-Lot. Applejack is a vigorous earth pony that is easy to please and doesn't take things too seriously. Her persistence is something to admire, as she is always determined to get things done on time. Applejack's unflinching work ethic and dedication for her family is described by her modest characterization. She warmly greets Twilight Sparkle into the farm and is ecstatic to know more about her. The funky western music that follows help accompany the thrills that allure the audience in. She invites her for some sample testing of what is going to be served at the Somerset celebration in a rather lavish manner.
Red delicious, golden delicious, caramel apple, apple strudel, apple tart, baked apples, apple brioche, apple cinnamon crisp.
Wait, hold up. Where is a pony called Apple Crisp? What? Why didn't they include the apple crisps? Well, maybe, you know, that could be the name of the little colt Big Macintosh and Sugar Belle conceived at the end of the last problem. Whoa, spoilers! Then each of Applejack's main family members are introduced for a few seconds. Aside from the barrage of other ponies, it was substantial that we received a short and basic idea of which specific characters to look out for in future episodes. Twilight understandably wants to leave, but then...
Aren't you gonna stay for brunch?
Hell no!
Fine.
Peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure!
It's this certain moment in this scene that lets it down for me. Having hindsight, we can clearly see that this is not something Applejack would be keen to, and Twilight is already feeling too awkward to consider grudgingly accept the invitation. But to be fair, for a first-time viewer, we would hardly know anything about them this early on. We cannot judge them too much, so I'm on the fence with this.
I ate too much pie.
In this instant, without a doubt, started the flood of many pregnancy fan arts. After the overstuffy brunch Twilight and Spike had with Applejack, they abruptly encounter Rainbow Crab. Excuse me, they meet a Pegasus named Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash is played by the same voice actress who plays Applejack, Ashley Ball. Rainbow Dash is an impetuous character who literally lives life right on the edge. She has a huge level of confidence for what she wants to achieve. Her rainbow-colored mane and tail contrast wonderfully with her sky blue body, especially when it comes to generating a sonic rainbow, basically the Equestria equivalent to a sonic boom, except it's more expressive and, you know, colourful. Rainbow's introduction segment is quite comedic, crashing into Twilight, washing the mud off Twilight, and drying her off, causing her hair to puff up. You can catch a glimpse of her loyalty shining through early on, even with complete strangers. I even cracked up a bit myself seeing the silliness of this scene excelling. We then get a little exposition of the talented acrobatic group, the Wonderbolts, before Twilight has a parley with Rainbow Dash's ego.
They'd never accept a Pegasus who can't even keep the sky clear for one measly day.
Twilight believes that Rainbow doesn't have it in her to impress the Wonderbolts and urges her to prove her skills by clearing the sky. Twilight gets annihilated.
Flat.
I even timed it. What a savage Rainbow is, and within the first half of the episode, she proves herself worthy of respect. The pacing of this episode is brilliant for almost every small detail that gets established. Twilight and Spike make their way down to the town hall, where they are checking on the decorations. But wait, Twilight's mane is still too fluffy like that of a lion's. So, who are you gonna call to fix this disaster?
Rarity!
Rarity is voiced by Tabitha St. Germain, who is formerly known for providing the voices in many shows, such as Dandelion from Barbie Fairytopia, Andrea Sussman from Crypto the Superdog, and being the first voice actress for Naz in Ed, Edd and Eddy. Unlike Applejack, who is described as down-home and simple, Rarity is the complete opposite, and prides herself with sophistication. All things related to beauty and fashion is her game. She may not be sturdy like Rainbow or persistent like Applejack, but she does have one element to her get it, that makes her unique from the others: her generosity.
Just a moment, please. I'm in the zone, as 'twere.
You gotta admit, the meetup with Rarity is pleasing. She is immediately polite and ladylike. It's not too hard to develop a likeness for her approachable temperament. Even Spike can't keep up. Hold on. Isn't he a baby again? Spike's crush for his adoration of Rarity is slightly bewildering to me, taking into account their approximate years of age, although it is cute nonetheless. Flabbergasted by the messy state of Twilight's mane, Rarity offers her a makeover by taking her to the boutique. Despite a fun short sequence of costumes Twilight tries on, Rarity's character becomes somewhat clingy, treating Twilight with not much personal space with the way she is strangling her and only interested in where she resigns. If she was generous, Rarity could have at least loosened her grip to allow Twilight to speak more clearly.
Before she decides to dye my coat a new color.
Not even a thank you to the touchy fashionista for sorting out your grubby mane? I hope the door on your way out messes it up again.
What?
Twilight and Spike have almost arrived at the library when they suddenly hear the sound of birds singing. They investigate the noise and they come face to face with a new Pegasus. Fluttershy.
I'm Fluttershy.
Yeah, okay, that was deliberate.
Oh!
Oh my god, don't burst my drums, Twilight! No wonder Fluttershy was so startled. Fluttershy is played by Andrea Libman, who has once provided the official voices for cartoon characters like Emmy from Dragon Tales, Bramble from the DuckTales 2017 reboot, and Norma from Sabrina the Animated Series. Along with Rainbow Dash's satisfying color palette, Fluttershy has got one that is extremely calming to the eye. The pastel yellow and pink colors match perfectly with her gentle and optimistic vibe. Even though she may seem very shy, hence the name, and fragile in social interactions, she has a seriously nurturing nature when it comes to animals.
I'm just here to check up on the music, and it's sounding beautiful.
I thoroughly enjoyed that genuine compliment from Twilight, as it hands us a little bit of foreshadowing that she will progressively grow out of her awkward and introverted disposition into something much more convincing. If Twilight thought she was socially anxious around new people, Fluttershy doubles that, unable to even mutter her name out of her mouth.
My name is Fluttershy.
Before she sorrowfully whimpers in diffidence. Even though it's a remotely sad moment, Fluttershy's burning passion for learning new animals gets yeeted into this scene.
Look at Randy Orton slithering.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Twilight is desperate to continue on her way to the library, but Fluttershy follows them while in conversation to Spike, eager to know more about his life history.
Well, I started out as a cute little purple and green egg.
Ugh, continuity, man. This is why it's important. Why even include two specific colors that was said by Spike himself on what his egg looked like when you're not going to add the other one later?
Purple and green egg. Purple and green egg. Purple and green egg.
This was probably an honest mistake on the editor's part when Cutie Mark Chronicles was produced, and I understand that, but it's so annoyed when it goes unnoticed. Plus, how long were they walking for? And how massive is Ponyville? It's a cozy little town in the center of Equestria, not a bunch of colossal plains connected to one another that make up most of the town. I'd guess it was in the middle of the afternoon that the trio started strolling to the library, and in the next scene, it's sunset. Were they walking for like 6 hours? Or is Spike's childhood so unimportant that they couldn't have devoted a tiny amount of screen time for him to explain some extra bits? After the long, exhaustive walk to the library, Twilight and Spike make themselves at home within the vacant darkness when it suddenly turns into a party! And we all know what pony caused this ruckus.
Surprise! Hi, I'm Pinkie Pie.
Yep, you guessed it right. It's Pinkie Pie, the Sugar Rush embodiment of a character. Pinkie Pie is played by the same voice actress who plays Fluttershy, Andrea Libman. She is always outrageously happy, and she is one of a kind. Gathering from her fluffy mane and tail, you could accidentally mistake Pinkie Pie for an animate balloon. Her mindset is filled with delight, and it is rare to see a dark cloud lingering over her head. Pinkie is usually known as the comedic relief that manages to bring plenty of joy to any pony. If you didn't understand Pinkie's lightning-fast verbal diarrhea, let me simplify it all into something better. Hopefully faster than Spike's struggle earlier on.
From the very first moment that Pinkie saw Twilight, she gasped because she knew Twilight was new to town, and Pinkie knows everyone in Ponyville except Twilight, immediately knowing that she mustn't have any friends. So Pinkie invited every single citizen in Ponyville to the library to throw Twilight a welcoming party so she can be appreciated in town.
There you go. Was it worth it? I believe with Twilight's expression, she totally got it, or unless she mistook pony alcohol for hot sauce. Overwhelmed with the massive number of guests in her new house, Twilight goes upstairs to make time to relax. I just like the small cameo of Spike coming into the room with the lampshade on his head, normally meant to indicate someone in film off their head or pissed. This darkened and quiet inconsequential segment is a nice bit of comfort from the outbreak of noise that erupted in the previous scene. The cinematography in the next 15 seconds of footage is fascinating. The camera starts off behind Twilight in a low angle with the moon in the far distance just above her head before it cuts to being directly outside the window. Now the camera is high in the air, looking down on Twilight's shrunken face. You could generate an idea that Nightmare Moon is staring down at her and the rest of the town below, ready to wage eternal darkness across the land. It gets closer and closer to Twilight's eyes, and even the stars in the night sky, giving us a firmly uncomfortable sight, before Spike barges in with the next scene. And then the final act begins. It is dread-inducing. Every pony has gathered in the town hall for the arrival of Princess Celestia and the start of the Somerset celebration. The music is blaring, many ponies are applauding, and every pony is ardent waiting for the sunset. It invites the viewer for the same sense of excitement until Twilight notices the stars aligning when the silhouette of the mare in the moon vanishes. But everything's still okay, right? I mean, Celestia will be here to save the day. Oh wait, she's gone too! To be brutally honest, Pinkie's temporary comedy relief in this scene makes the suspense a bit lackluster, and the shocking gasps from every pony in the room seem redundant. Her dramatic gasp was fine, as it turns her jovial gasp at the start of the episode into something pessimistic in this segment, and I like that, but I personally think that the dialogue delivered was quite unnecessary.
No! Ooh, more guessing games. Cookie smokes. How about No! No! Black snooty! Black...
No! Pinkie, let the tension run its course. Please! And then the dark blue smoke develops into some pony physical.
Nightmare Moon.
Her whole design is incredible. Nightmare Moon's sparkling and wavy dark blue mane and tail gives her a wicked appearance. It looks like as if they were ripped straight from the night sky and implanted onto her body. Her jet black coat of fur displays her like a dead pony walking. Not to forget her metallic suit of armor around her chest and head. And even her snake-like eyes blast the audience with the suspicion that Nightmare Moon isn't going to take it easy with any pony. Every pony is visibly shaking with fear as Twilight denounces her as the one who was imprisoned in the moon 1,000 years ago, and she was the only one who saw the signs that Nightmare Moon was returning. And to finish off the first part in classic fashion, Nightmare Moon's perpetual darkness produces a monumental cliffhanger that will always be memorable.
From this moment forth, the night will last forever.
Oh, fantastic! So, repeat this after me, Fluffbutts, because I am going to be saying this particular phrase every time an episode's review ends. Was it a yay or a nay? So, say that with me. Was it a yay or a nay? Well, I have to say that in spite of being the very first episode of the entire series, it's a great start. It is without a doubt a yay. Friendship is Magic Part 1 manages to show its many possibilities for where the show can be taken with its expandable characters and vast settings. Even though there were a few issues with how several characters were shown to behave that couldn't be relatable to their future personas, and the bemusing scale of a few locations that just completely baffled me, almost everything that was featured in this episode worked to a great extent. We, as an audience, would be itching to know more about whom these ponies and creatures are and the world they all live in, and let me tell y'all right now, it indeed pays off in the second part. There is no question about that. Do be sure to stay tuned for when the review for Friendship is Magic Part 2 gets released. You wouldn't want to miss a single bit of it. I award Friendship is Magic Part 1 an 8.5 out of 10. Well, thank you very much for watching something new on my channel, Fluffbutts. I really hope you have enjoyed. And don't worry, Part 2 will be getting released soon. I'm excited myself to release it as well. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you want to see more of these reviews. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Goodbye!